1400 AM, 99.7 FM.
I'm Joe Keys,
WIDU.
and you're watching the Kurin Keys Show.
You're now rocking with the Kurin Key Show on WIDU, and we have a dope show today. Like, this is one of them, like you can tell about the ambiance of my show, like the paintings in the background. We got Samod Wilson, who's one of the most talented painters, period. We got Robb Barber, we got Kelsey Battle, the Kelsey Battle on here. So, yeah, this is going to be fire today, Vaughn. Vaughn, go ahead and introduce yourself for the new listeners.
I am your girl, Miss Vaughn Demetriz. I am your co-host on the Kurin Keys Show.
She actually the boss. She just, my name just on the monitor. She run the show.
I didn't say it, he did. Yes, but we have some amazing guests on today.
So, this gentleman does everything. And like, when it comes to a car show, you know, we always say your first stop following a car accident is Robb Barber. It is Robb the Barber. If you tear your car up, it's Robb Barber. We are going to the new classic paint and body over there on Bingham.
Yes.
You know, and so one thing I love about entrepreneurship is that it teaches you to do some things, and Robb is probably one of the most amazing innovators, and like he just added so much to the community in the city. So, Robb, we welcome you to the show.
Yes, welcome, brother.
Well, hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today?
Hey, Robb.
Robb gave you the hello, boys.
Hello.
And girls.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. I had to put on my professional voice.
Mm-hmm.
So, Vaughn, you said some things off camera about Robb. You know, start it off.
Well, Robb is my brother. First of all, I've been knowing him for years, and he's the community's brother. You know, we all just sat back.
Nah, it's big homie. He's the community's big homie.
But you know what? No, because when you family, you know,
That's
you
right.
separate,
Right.
you know, all of that. But
That's a facade.
Yes, since he was a young man, I've watched him bloom.
You know what? Yeah, you know, that's it.
Yes,
Yeah.
we watched him bloom into an amazing man, you know, and yes, the community loves him, and they know him as the big homie.
Right. You know.
Yes.
So, Robb, tell us, how did you get started with the body shop business?
Man, I just kind of, honestly, I kind of fell into it. It's not anything that I went to college for or anything like that. You know, being a proud alum of Fayetteville State University, Bronco
Attitude
Pride.
check.
Okay.
You know, but it's not anything that I went to college for. It was actually a part of my wife's family business. Yeah. So that's how I actually kind of got started in it, and it was just better. In my opinion, the money was better, and it was a better environment than what I went to what I went to school for.
What is your degree in?
My degree is actually in criminal justice with a minor in communications.
Well,
Definitely, completely, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
not even close.
It's completely.
Not even close.
But
not
did
even
you
a
hear
little
what he
bit.
said?
What?
His wife.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, I've been married 20 years, though, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, listen.
Yes.
My Noriega, clap that up. Clap that up.
So it took the woman to say, hey, Robb, we need to do this, you know?
Man.
So let's give First Lady a round of applause.
That's right.
Definitely.
Shout out to my baby. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, Robb, tell us, how has your faith impacted how you do business and in business?
Well, honestly, like in anything entrepreneurial, you better have some real faith, because if you don't, you'll just fall by the wayside. Mm-hmm. You know, like you really got to trust in God. And this is whether anybody else thinks that you're doing that or not. You know, like a lot of people like to take the credit themselves, but it's more God with me than anything else. And sometimes you get into a conversation about it, but it's not anything that I ever try to press on people. You know, you just gotta know, and you gotta know the diction when I begin to speak, that That's where that comes from. It doesn't come from me just being like the big homie. Like, I come up with it myself. I always kind of joke on Facebook and stuff like that, and I say, hey, listen, man, if you mad, man, don't be mad at me, man. Be mad at God. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't create this. You know, I didn't engineer this. God did that for me. I'm just kind of following suit, and sometimes I don't, and it don't go right. You know, but when I do, it goes right.
Yeah. I can testify to that. Being in I think at our age group, we start to understand the importance of being in the will of God.
Very important.
And I say this, you know, I spoke on this at an event one time, and I said, you can be in the will of God, but you also got to make sure everything around you is in the will of God. Yeah. Because everybody on that ship with Jonah got wet.
Yeah. Yeah. So the thing is, and this is the strange thing, is that I try not to be on ships with people anymore. You know, I know that sounds kind of weird.
No, it don't.
But on these so-called ships, it's me, my wife, and my kids, and my mama. You know, like, and my dad, and my sisters, and my brothers. Like, I try not to put a lot of friends on my ship anymore.
People at all. So, to your point, in the story of Jonah, the captain of the ship had his orders.
That's right.
The captain of the ship, everybody on that ship was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And they were going, he was going in the direction that he had sent. There was one person that got on that ship named Jonah, and he made everything bad. And they're like, what's going on? He said, I'm out of the will of God. And once he threw Jonah off the ship, the ship was peaceful again. So I commend you on that for being wise enough to throw folks off the ship. Some folks got to drown.
No, but the thing is that I always wasn't that way, you know? I used to want everybody on the ship. And I'm talking about like in my early 40s, my late 30s, all through my 20s, I wanted to save everybody. I wanted to have everybody with me, you know? If I got room in the car, they can get in, you know? And as you grow older, you start realizing, like, you don't need to have these people in your car with you, you know, like, because their dedication or their will or what they're trying to achieve may not be what you're trying to achieve. You know, it may not be the direction that you even want to go in. You know, I tell my kids all the time, like, man, why you asking anybody else, man? I'm y'all GPS. You know? You know, like, you know, you don't have no business asking nobody else. You ask God and you ask me. You know? And from when your kids hear that, they probably think you being arrogant, but I'm being dead serious, because who else wants you to win more than me?
Nobody. I told my son, there's nobody in the world that will die for you to be better than me.
Yeah.
And I said, like, that is so important, because there are people that want you to be as good as them. Yeah. But there are not a lot of people that want you to be better than them.
Correct.
But when it comes to, as far as being a father, I want my babies to be better. You do not hurt my feelings by saying I'm better than, you know, I've done better than I'm like, yes, please.
Yeah. I want every last child of mine, and I have 5 children, I want every last one to be better than me.
You want them to bloom.
Want them to bloom.
They want them to bloom.
That is a fact.
I want these children to bloom.
That is a fact. I definitely want them to bloom. I definitely do.
So, talk to me about it. As a graduate of the great Fayetteville State University.
That's right.
But a man that owns a trade business, what would you tell parents now when they come to the fork in the road? Do I send my baby to a 4-year, or do I turn them to trade school?
So look, like, the crazy thing is, I don't want to down the 4-year. But because there's a lot of money in there when done properly.
Right.
And when you pick your particular field, if you're picking per capital, you know what I'm saying? If you're going for money, then you have to pick the correct one. But the majority of the fields that are in a 4-year college or university, they're not going to get you any real money if you're looking to have a prosperous life financially. And this is just my opinion, you know, because I know a lot of people who went to college with me, and I know a lot of people who are in their different fields, and they might be a teacher, they might be this, and it's not down in anybody, but they even feel like that they don't make enough money, right? But when you go into a trade, that money is there for the taking. You kind of setting your own price a little bit.
Right.
You know, and it doesn't matter whether you're doing collision repair like myself, heating and air, culinary.
Whoa, let's stop. He didn't say I do body work or paint body. He said I do. Say what you call it, Rob? Collision repair. See, that's
right.
when you know
That's
somebody
right.
in their job.
That's the difference.
That's the difference.
Okay.
You see, what he said he was speaking on his diction. See, that's when.
Right.
See, when people start talking about collision repair, that's when you know they're ready to bloom.
They're ready to bloom.
They're ready to bloom.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of people are ready to bloom, though.
Yeah.
Collision repair just sounds like he's tied with all the insurance.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes. You know, he took mine. I was like, Rob, you take them? Yeah, I do.
I deal with a lot of insurance companies, and really, you know, like the crazy thing is, like, I want to educate people to how insurance companies work per the side that I'm on, you know, because a lot of people, they even, you know, just randomly, like a lot of people think that, oh man, you know, I was in a car accident, let me get 3 estimates, and then I'm gonna send them around, and, you know, maybe I can pocket this, or maybe I could do that. And this industry doesn't really allot for that anymore, you know, because these insurance companies are just as cheap as anybody else. They're trying to pay the minimum amount. They're not trying to give you the maximum amount and put some money in your pocket and put you in a better situation. They actually are planning to put you in a like situation to what you were prior to your vehicle being in an accident. You know, they're not trying to fix your car and put $1,000 in your pocket. They're not doing that, you know. But that's the concept that a lot of people in the black community have.
That was the old days.
Yeah.
It was the old days.
Well, it was the way that they did it. You know, like, and when I say the way that they did it, I mean, like, it was the way that our community finagled through whatever check it was that they gave them. You know, and I can't, you know, I tell people all the time when they come to me, I can't knock your hustle, you just can't hustle me.
Yeah, you know. Well, they got to bloom somewhere else.
They got to bloom somewhere else.
So, Rob, who's your greatest influence?
Man, honestly, my greatest influence in business-wise, are you speaking, or just in life? Because in business-wise, my greatest influence is my father-in-law.
Okay.
You know, I think everything he do is ill in my opinion. You know, the way he handles himself, the way that he keeps calm in certain situations. I've never seen him raise his voice. Like, and I attempted to fuss him out before, and he just kind of just laid back on me, you know, like, and was listening. And I was like, well, this is weird. I'm looking for the interaction, but he didn't give me that, you know.
So he looked at you like Nas looked at Snoop Dogg.
He looked at me like,
you remember that?
Yeah.
When Snoop Dogg said, Nas don't got a lot of people with him.
Yeah.
But he got a lot of people.
Yeah, but he got a lot of people with him. Right.
I love that connection with your father-in-law.
Yeah.
With that being your wife's father.
Right, correct.
You know, y'all had the babies and just don't you just see the generational just blooming?
You know what? It does that.
Yeah.
Bloom.
It blooms.
Right.
So, Rob, I'm going to finish this up. What jewel could you leave with a young business owner, somebody just getting started?
If somebody was just getting started in whatever business that they're getting into, I would always remind them to, whatever money is being generated, save your money. You know, like, don't get involved so much in these things that we see on social media, these things that we see all across the internet. Everybody's telling you that in order to be this, you gotta look like this, or you have to possess this. You know, one of the things that I always kind of laugh and joke about, you know, in the black community, if we feel like we made it, we got a Mercedes, right? But nobody ever told you that Mercedes service charge is $3,500.
Baby, let me tell you something. I'm ready to drop mine off right now.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it's going to cost.
Because it's going to cost.
Yeah, you know, like nobody tells you, you know, like, you know how you've heard your parents say, make sure you save some money for a rainy day. It's more rainy days than sunny days.
Yes, it is.
And we weren't taught financial literacy or being able to really become the bank, right? So my objective for the last probably 10 years is becoming a bank. And I have ups and downs, and I like to publicly tell, like, man, I've had friends loan me $20,000 before. I had friends drop off $10,000 before, and this is me just to be able to continue to make my dreams come true because they believe in me too, And I'm not ashamed of that, like most people, they like to say, oh man, I did it all by myself because I'm this.
Nobody does it by themselves.
Man, if you look at all these large businesses out here, they all did it with partners.
Right.
It's just you have to find the right one to fit you. So while my collision repair shop, I don't have any partners just by the way that I came in the game. But in other business that I have, I've had partnerships. Some work, some don't. But I don't frown upon partnerships and believe that I can do everything myself because I know I can.
Shaquille O'Neal said he was sitting somewhere and he didn't know anything, and the guys were talking about Google. And he said it bothered him so bad that he didn't know.
Yeah.
So he went and got the book. He said, Small Business for Dummies.
Yeah.
And now he says that's how he makes the most. And you see him, he's the General Cardiff.
Yeah.
So Papa John's.
The thing with people in business is, right, they think that your name has to be the top name. Man, my name just needs to be in the credits. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if I'm the first name you see, the last name you glance and saw it in the middle when you pause the TV. As long as my name is in there, and sometimes it don't even got to be in there, as long as I can generate capital.
As long as your name is on the check.
Exactly. And me and my brother, we talk about this all the time. Like, I am a check writer. I don't receive a check for showing up, So as employees, and it's no disrespect to them, but you receive a check if you show up, even if business did not go well that day.
Boy, you're
going to receive a check, right? But in the position, in the seat that I sit in, I can show up every day. And if I didn't handle business properly, or if I don't have a good customer base, I don't get no money. I pay out money. And that's a scary thing if nothing's not flowing, but you're continuously paying out. Right? And a lot of people, they don't understand that because they wake up at 8 o'clock, they got to be to work. And if they show up to work, regardless of what the economy is looking like, they will receive a paycheck in there at the end of the month or every 2 weeks or whatever the case may be. I done had weeks I work, I didn't receive nothing. I'm talking about absolutely nothing. And they think that you're in a better position, or they think you're in a great position, or they think that you just got money to burn. It's not really that way. And I be wanting to speak the business truth to a lot of people, because there's so many people that get on Facebook and they're telling about their they're telling a story and they make it look so glamorous, but they don't see, they don't tell that they got in the shower and tears rolling down their face because they really don't know how they're going to pay their own bills next week, and they know them bills is coming. Quick story. I remember one day, I didn't know what I was going to do, right? It was a Thursday night. Payroll is on Friday. I'm talking about I had $200 to my name, right? I laid in the bed. I be listening to like these self-help things in my, my headphones sometime when I'm going through stuff. I put my headphones on, I just laid there, and I was just talking to God. At the same time I'm listening to this, I'm going back and forth, and I was just like, man, if I know this, I told God, I said, I know this is far-fetched. I said, but if I can just get $20,000 by 11 o'clock tomorrow, I'll be fine. Right. It sounded so crazy, right? But I sat there, I said my prayers, I prayed myself to sleep that night. I woke up in the morning, did my regular routine, you know what I'm saying? Got dressed, went to the shop, you know, I'm doing my, you know, regular rounds and looking around or whatever. Like I said, I got $200 in my name. This is no lie. A guy came in and he had an old school car. He said, yeah, man, I called earlier this week. I wanted to bring my old school car, man, and I wanted to see how much you was gonna charge me, blah, 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 so forth and so on. I said, man, that'd be about $14,000 or whatever. I'm saying it so nonchalantly because I'm like, oh, he's just pricing. Mm-hmm. So I said, yeah, man, that'd be about $14,000. I said, but if you ever really want to get started with it, you know, all you have to do is bring me half, and then we will handle the other half at the end when we, you know, like finish the job, or we'll space it out or whatever, right? So he was like, okay. I literally turned my back and walked back into the shop. He follows me in the shop, and I'm looking at him like, you know, like, did you need something else, sir? Right. Blah, blah, blah. He says, yeah. Yeah, man, do you know, like, you take a debit card, or you know, want me to pay cash? I looked. I said, you could use a debit card, or you could go get cash. He said, which one do you prefer? I said, cash is cool. He left, and I'm still not believing that he's coming back. But in between the time that he's coming back, another person came and they wanted an all-over paint job, and they paid me $6,000 cash right then, right? Mm-hmm. This is all the same day. Mm-hmm. I'm literally around 10:45 right now. Preach. So the guy paid me $6,000 cash. Mm-hmm. The other guy came back and it was $10.59, and he brought $14,000 cash money. Listen, I looked. So I got my secretary, she's counting the money right now. She don't know what I'm going through. She don't know, you know, like, so she's counting the money, and you know how you get that one tear? I got that one tear, and I said, that's how, you know, like, every so often, like I was saying before the cameras and stuff came on, every so often we have to be reminded that God is real. Yes. It's not me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But God hears you. Yes. You know, whether it's good or bad, because he just can't hear the good. Mm-hmm. You know, like, he has to hear everything, in my opinion, right? But he heard me. Mm-hmm. And my prayers were answered. Mm-hmm. And I was so appreciative that it was scary to me. You know, like, that my words really didn't fall on deaf ears. Mm-hmm. Because he knew what I needed. He knew what I asked for. You know, everything that I'm involved with, I asked for this. I didn't know that it was gonna come with all these problems, but I asked to be a business owner. Mm-hmm. I asked to have a large family. I asked to drive a Mercedes. I asked to have a Range Rover. I asked to have a G-Wagon. These are things that I asked for. Mm-hmm. I asked for me being able to have money to supply my children with the same thing. Mm-hmm. You know, like, from the Rolex that I wear to the jewelry that I have, I asked for all these things. I didn't know what they was going to come with.
It's going to cost.
It's going to cost.
There's a cost. My dad calls me just randomly, and he says on the telephone, he always says it, because he'll call me, ask me what's up, how's my day going. I might tell him something real quick about how something ain't going right, and then he was like, nah, but you wanted to stay here. Right? And I say, Dad, cut it out. He'd be like, nah, you remember? All of us wanted to leave, and you wanted to stay. He calls Fayetteville Robintown. You know what I'm saying? He says, you want to stay in Robintown. He said, and in order to be in Robintown, you got to pay the cost to be the boss. And you won't pay that cost every day because you have a lifestyle that you like to live. He said, I didn't give you that lifestyle. He said, I can't afford your lifestyle, son. You know, I mean, so that's you know, my dad is a pastor too, so you know, like, those are the type of things that we do talk about.
I think that was an amazing come to Jesus moment.
So wait a minute.
We all have
Vaughn. Yeah. We're gonna hold your hand out. Rob, I need you to hold your hand out. We're gonna do this together.
Right.
God, I see what you did for Rob.
Yes.
By 11 o'clock tomorrow.
Do it for
God, me. If you could just bless me and Vaughn with an additional 20,000.
Additional 20,000 right now, so we can bloom.
And bloom.
Woo!
Hey,
it's
I
gonna
need it
cost.
again. I need it again because payroll is tomorrow.
God, let him be blessed again. And all the saints of God, in Jesus' name we pray.
We pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Rob, I appreciate you.
Amen.
Coming
Come
on,
y'all, let's get something to eat. Come on, y'all, let's get something to eat. Come on, y'all, let's get something to eat. She got something to brunch. Let's get some to eat. She got French toast. She got French toast. Let's get some to eat. Let's get some to eat. Champagne bread. Champagne bread. Let's get some to eat. Bacon, egg, and cheese. Let's get some to eat. Come on.
ICAN Kids Show!
You're now back to the Kurin Key Show and on WIDU, but I have one of the most incredible guests that I have ever had on my show, Mr. Kelsey Battle. But hold on, we got to have a moment. Let me see your nose. Let me see your nose. Give me kisses? Okay, bye. Here, go find your brothers. Hurry up. So, Kelsey, his story is so, dynamic. I've heard it 50 times. We've been friends since, 99?
99.
So, he was starting his, I was starting mine, watching him grow, build his family. How old is Shemaya?
31.
Yeah, so that she was little, and so, I want to say this though. Kelsey owns a brand, did group homes, did multiple businesses or whatever. But when Kelsey graduated high school, he could not read.
I saw that when I saw his.
When he
interview.
said, "Do you see that? Do you see it?" When he said he couldn't read, and he went in the army, and I think one of your commanders.
Now, my first sergeant taught me how to read. He was a Mexican, right? So when I went,
the Mexican is who taught you how to read?
yeah, my first time he was a Mexican.
Wow. Okay.
So when I graduated from high school, I was on the first grade, second grade reading level. I went to MEPS in Raleigh, and the recruiter was like, "You passed the physical, but you didn't pass the ASVAB. Your scores are so low, we can't get you a job." I was like, "Okay." He was like, "Well, I'm gonna take you back to Fayetteville." I was like, "Man, I don't want to go back to Fayetteville." He's like, "Why?" I said, "Because everybody in my house smoke crack or sell crack. I don't want to go back there." He looked me up and down and said, "I'm gonna help you save your life." 3 days later, I was on a plane going to Fort Sill, Oklahoma. It was the Gulf War, so I got in on a waiver.
Wow.
That's how I got in the military, on the waiver, because my scores are so low. And I went to Fort Sill. I became a tank driver. I learned how to drive tanks. Went to Germany after basic and AIT. When I got to my duty station, you got to do emergency contact paperwork. We was getting ready to deploy for the Gulf War, and I couldn't fill out the paperwork. So they went and got the first sergeant. He was asking me, what's going on, why you can't read and write. So he made me his driver. I didn't know what a driver was. I was a private. So in the military, you got to be an E4 or at least 2 years in the military to be a driver. He made me his driver. I'm just getting there. I didn't know what a driver was. So everywhere he went, I went. The motor pool, ran errands for him. But I would report to him every day, and he would teach me how to read.
Wow.
And one day, maybe 6-8 months later, I started. So when I started learning how to read, it just clicked. It was like, he's teaching me everything I had learned in school and heard in school. It just didn't. I just couldn't grasp it for some reason or another. Maybe my trauma, my background, whatever. But I just could not grasp it. And then one day it just started clicking. It probably because he was teaching me. One day I said, "First of all, can I ask you a question?" He was like, "Yeah." I said, "What made you help me?" And then he said, "Well, I seen something in you." He said, "I walked from Mexico with my parents as a child, me and my brother.
Wow.
And I don't have no sons. I seen something in you. I got 4 daughters and he was married." He said, "I seen something in you. I wanted to help you." He said, "I grew up without a father as well because those lawnmowers that cut the highway? His dad, that was his dad's job. It rolled over and killed him." Wow. And that's how he lost his dad. But he walked from Mexico with his family, his mom and dad and his brother. And he grew up without a dad. And then he ended up helping me. His name was First Sergeant Jacone. Yeah.
That is amazing. Wow.
So, you're a college graduate now, though.
I got my degree in psychology, and I just enrolled in school to get my MBA in leadership
That's
and business.
all right.
Mm-hmm.
And, the VA gonna pay for it.
Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, I've had the pleasure of printing ICAN. The shirts, but I've seen this grow, and so now you're in Walmart. You're in AFES.
Well, right now I'm physically in the Department of the Navy. I'm in Guam, Japan, Italy, Spain, Hawaii, physically, and I'm in all the Department of the Navy department stores in the U.S. And I'm online in the Navy. I just onboarded with Walmart, doing all my paperwork at Walmart today. Just started my onboarding today,
Wow.
and I'll be.
That's amazing.
That's big.
That's amazing.
That's big.
And then in 2 weeks, I'll be onboarding for the Department of the Army AFE stores, like Army Air Force Exchange Services. I'll be doing my onboarding for them in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That's
awesome.
That's
I can.
so. What inspired ICAN? Tell me. I know what it means, but I want you to tell the people what it means.
So, just being challenged. I'm gonna explain something to you. So, not being able to read and write is a major challenge, right? So you can do math, but when you got to read the word problems, you stuck. So I'm very good in math, but so the challenges of me maneuvering, if you go blind, your hearing get better, your smell get better. So me not being able to read and write, I was being able to be very charismatic and just make different moves. So it propelled me to challenge myself to do better, to get better. And prime example, when I was able to learn how to read and write, I would read it twice because I was still struggling. So if I'm reading chapter 1, page 1, I read it twice. Page 2, I read it. And I'm taking notes, but I have to keep back and going reading it. So it was just in me to keep going,
Right.
Just learning how to read, education-wise. So doing it multiple times, people say, man, you smart. You got good grades, or, just overcoming issues and the way I accomplish things. It was a habit of reading over and over because I could not understand it. So I just developed that pattern of just keep going and just driving on.
So tell me about ICAN, the clothing. We know where you're at in that. Did you ever feel like giving up?
No. So in all the journeys that I've been through, I never, because when you can't read and write and you're struggling and you don't have no money, where you gonna go to give up? What you gonna do? Who you gonna go get? So I never, no matter what I did, it was only two things can happen. I just developed this pattern. It's only two things can happen. I can win or I can lose. It's either a yes or a no, right? So I never, no matter what I do, ever had a mentality of giving up. Because as I grew and grew and grew, even if I failed, I got closer and made me better. So if I wanted to get from A to Z and I got to N, even though I didn't get to Z, I got closer and made me better. So I just compelled myself to keep going. So I never ever had a desire to give up on anything I did.
That makes sense.
Even with my wife, she didn't like me. She kept trying to leave me. I'm like, no,
Kept fighting. Kept fighting. That's what I'm talking
So
about.
no matter what I do, even now, what else I'm gonna do?
You a fighter.
I'm a fighter. Yeah, I just had to.
You a fighter.
Never
And
had-
and let me say this too. For a lot of people may not know your story, and they definitely need to pull it up after hearing this, right? But from how you described to me what you experienced in your childhood, you can't get no lower than that. So it's almost like give up on what? I've already been there.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And you look forward to, I can do this.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I can.
I can.
And I will.
Okay, I can.
Come on now.
What did he say? And I can is what I can achieve now.
Yes.
And when you see people give up on you, so when you said that I want to give up, when I see people give up on me, like people say, "Man, you still doing clothes?" I'm like, "Yeah." My family, my friends, I mean, close relatives, they don't buy from me, and I'm cool with it.
Yes,
and I don't take it personal because my brand wasn't designed for them to buy from me. This is my vision, my idea. So when people say, "Man, you still doing that?" I'm like, so LeBron James is the best player on the planet, right? Or whoever the best player. They went from rec to middle school, high school. You didn't become a judge out of high school. You had to get there. So in my mentality, I knew I had to get there. It was going to take time. And listen, no matter how long it took, I'm going to get there. So that's why I never gave up. I'm going to get there.
That's an amazing story. And whoever came over there, I don't know why. And you still make. Well, people gotta wear clothes every day.
You know, and this is what I tell people. You know, it's a lot of great ideas. Lot. I mean, but guess where they at? I mean, billion dollar ideas.
Grave.
They in the grave because they didn't have people to support them. They gave up. So some of the things that we see now could have came. But people just gave up. They right there knocking on the door. But they gave up. And people die with their passions and their vision.
I say that all the time. I want to die empty. I want to give it all up. Like when I go, I want to, you know, I got notebooks on top of notebooks, and my sons would go through my notebooks on. Sometimes it would be a finished idea, and sometimes it would just be a random idea. And I may never go back to that notebook because once I write in it 5 or 6 pages, then that's for that. And so I
do the same thing.
I enjoy that. But to speak to what you said, you never get. Me and Kelsey been friends a long time, and friends argue. He was at the shop getting something done, and we didn't see eye to eye. I said, "Well, you ain't got to come back." He said, "You can't tell me not to come back."
It's funny you say that. For this to be the first time we've ever met, I think all Kurin's close friends, he've argued with every last one of us. But I mean, that's what bonded us.
No. It was we were in a heated argument, and I said, "Well, you could just not come back to the shop." He said,
I think we've argued a few times.
But then Kelsey said, "You can't tell me not to come back. We friends." He said, "I ain't." He said that, and was serious.
And we was arguing for real.
But what did he just tell you? He fought for his life. He fought for the woman that has been married to over 20-something years.
No, I think 33 years.
31, be 32 in January.
I'm glad you corrected that. 30 years. That's a round of applause for that too.
Yeah.
So,
only reason I know because they was married when Shemaiah came.
Right.
And she's 31, and my daughter will be 31 this year.
Right. So, and then he said, "No, you're not gonna put me out, and you're not gonna get rid of." I love your brain for that. You know what I mean? Like he don't give up on nothing.
No, I don't.
So that means anybody that tells him no, okay, that's your no, not this no.
So
you know,
when you say I don't give up no, I'm gonna tell you how people treated me, or this how people treat you. But I'm a reference to me. If you ask somebody about me, right, they'll get a notebook and write all my good things, right. It'll be the whole notebook. And they said, well, write the bad things too. They'll write the bad things and have one sheet of paper. They have that whole notebook with all my good, throw the notebook in the trash and hang you that one sheet of paper. And that's how people treat you. So when I went through that, or when I have been through that, it made me say, that's not who I am. It made me say, let me show these people who I really am. Because people have treated me like that. Threw away my good and showed you my bad. And that's how they recollect me, or that's how they associated me with that one sheet of paper.
And I think we're all done like that, you know?
Sounds like the justice system to me. You need one F on that report card and it's over for you.
It's over for you.
How has your walk with Christ shaped and formed ICAN?
You know, so I'm a professional speaker. I speak on stage. I go to schools. I speak to adults. So I'm just gonna be frank. One day I was in the military. I was supply sergeant, right? And I hope statute of limitations is over.
No, don't say nothing on this or that. Just say
so
I
let me
heard
explain
somebody
something to
did
you.
it.
I was doing so bad. I was in the military. I got down on my knees. I told God, I know how to kill, steal, and destroy. If you don't let me use my gifts and talents to do better, I'm going to turn up. because I was at a point where I'm about to go to the street because I was that broke. I had nothing to lose. I was in the military and still broke. I felt I was doing everything right, and I was still losing. So I surrendered to Christ. I was in my supply room on my knees in my BDUs crying. And I was praying, asking God to let me use my gifts and talents to do better. And after I prayed and got up, I was still broke, but I didn't feel broke. I used to come to work, like, I didn't have no gas in my truck to get to PT, and I lived on base. I'm like, and my wife was working, I was working, we had kids. So, but when I surrendered to Christ and things started happening without money, I started praying. I wanted to get in school. I went to school and I owed money. I had owed money to the school. I failed classes. So they said, well, you failed. We're not gonna give you tuition assistance. And I told that lady, I said, I don't have no money. I said, I really need to get back in school. And then she said, she said, come back in the hour, let me talk to the supervisor. I went home and prayed. And I came back. They said, well, we're just going to act like you don't owe no money and we're going to let you get back in school. So the turning point started turning as I surrendered to Christ and things started evolving. I started saying, God, what we doing today? I started speaking and building my relationship.
Whoa. Do that again.
I started asking God, what we doing today? I started
speaking. I can't, that's one of them. No, you can't breeze past that.
No,
he
I
said
love
he
that.
turned to God and said, what we doing today? So all the people watching the Kurin Keys show, I want you to stop what you're doing right now in the middle of this show. I want you to stop, and we're going to say this together. God, what we doing today?
What we doing today?
That's it. That is a jewel. Like Kelly, if you didn't get it, that is so, because what it is that you've made God your Alpha and Omega. And when you were in that supply room, you got the peace that surpassed all understanding. Right. How do I understand that? Because when I surrendered, you saw my change.
Right. I did. I was shocked.
There is no way in the world 5-6 years ago WIDU would have put me on.
He was different when he was living in the world.
It's always one. See, I'm over here trying to bloom, and then she bringing it back the fact that it's gonna cost.
You know, when I seen Kurin change, I said, "Oh, he's just going through a phase. It ain't gonna last." It wasn't me judging you. It was me knowing that the type of person you are. How was you gonna put God in that? Because you got to give up something, and I knew you were so headstrong. I'm like, how he gonna mix it?
So I'll show you what. That's
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I'm gonna show you what Christ did for me. Christ said, I had unhealthy food in my hand. I had a bunch of fast food in my hand. And Christ said, you can eat that, but I got this brown rice and I got this chicken and I got these greens on here. And I was like, okay. He said, but if you put that down, you can have some of this. Just try it. And so I tried it and I felt better. And then I had a soda in my hand. And I'm speaking from the spiritual sense. I had a soda in my hand. And Christ said, I know the soda's tasty, but I got this mineral water over here, and I got some vitamins to go with it. Try it. So I tried the vitamin mineral water, and I felt better. And then I had some chips in my hand, and Christ said, well, I got some fruit. You can eat the chips if that's what you want to do, but try this fruit. So then I started trying the fruit and the mineral water and the vitamins and the brown rice and the spiritual version of grilled chicken. And then when I went back and got the fast food, I got sick. It did not feel well. Some of my and I got a lot of growing to do. I am not saying that I'm there, but it doesn't feel good for me to be near the boundaries of being out of the will of God. So that's what changed me, was that we judge people. I said the basketball said we judge people by the decisions they make, not knowing the choices they had. As Kelsey's from crack-infested environment in Philadelphia, right?
And then we came to North Carolina.
I'm from Camden, New Jersey. We were the murder capital of the United States for years, and so Camden from Philly is 1.5 miles. It's really across the bridge. So you're talking about the same level of destitute. So I understand that. That was my neighbors, you know. And so we're of the age where crack was the new thing. It was like, whoa, you saw people on a Monday going to work, or let's say it was the beginning of July. You saw people on a Monday going to work, and then what happened is that by the end of July, they weren't going to work anymore.
Right.
And so I understand. So what God did is take away a lot of the negative choices in front of me and put positives in front of me. And then mercy is the absence of deserved punishment, which is what you said you were begging for. And then, but when you come into the will of God, you have favor, which is the presence of undeserved blessings. So when you have that undeserved favor, when you get in grace, is the presence of undeserved favor. That's what he's talking about when he went to school.
Yes.
Right. Let me say that. And so that once you start walking in grace, it changes you.
Correct.
Because you know, like what Rob said earlier, it's not you. So to agree with you, I did not change me. God changed me. And then once that change came along, it was too hard to go back.
Right.
The old version of me didn't fit anymore, and it wasn't comfortable.
Right. You know, when people see me, or they like, how you get so successful, or a lot of people, older people, got more money than me, less money than me. When I mentor men and I talk to people, and when they say, "How you do this? How you get successful?" I say, "You really want to know?" They say, "Yeah, teach me." I said, "You're gonna have to surrender some things," and they don't understand. So, what do you mean? I said, "You're gonna have to surrender." And then when I started,
So it's gonna cost.
Yeah, it's gonna cost. When I started telling them what it's gonna cost, they started. You can see their wheels turning. Like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to sacrifice?
Don't want to give this up.
Yeah, do I really want to give this up? So as I'm speaking to them, I'm telling them it works, because I tried it. This is not me. When I say, God, what we doing? When I literally be in my car, if something go wrong, it ain't that I give God the credit. I say, this is the way it's supposed to be. I accept it. Because my way, I would mess it up.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Or my way, I would make it worse on somebody else. See, my decisions don't only affect me; it affect my wife,
That's
my
right,
kids,
kids,
it affect my
everything.
grandkids, and my grandkids are not even here.
I can kids.
Thank you for staying tuned in to the Kurin Key Show. And I got one of the most talented artists. I know you saw through this whole show the artwork in the background. That is courtesy of Mr. Samod Wilson. Samod, welcome to the Kurin Key Show.
Thank you. I'm grateful, man, for real. I'm very appreciative to just be here.
Yes.
This is outrageous.
I'm talking about.
Like this is like your artwork looks like these people about to step out the picture and be in like a thriller video. Samod, tell me, when did you fall in love with art?
I can't really put it on a specific time, but I would say kind of when I got older and I realized that art can do more for me than just express my thoughts and ideas. So when I see people excitement, healing, or even if it's like telling stories through someone else's lenses, I'm grateful for that. So that's what I fell in love with.
How old were you?
I would say really probably in my early 20s when I really found out like how my gift can like heal or tell stories for others.
So your artwork is a storytelling.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my artwork, I really consider it as it's just God moving through me. I feel like he gave me this gift to just share and just gift out to the world. So sometimes I could just sit in front of the canvas and not know what to do, and then just let God just take control. And I don't know what story is coming out of it, but half the time, I just love listening to the stories that everyone else tell me that they get from it when they see those.
Wow, that's awesome. I have a quick question because I'm amazed by these.
That's love.
I mean, this is what you call art. I'm just trying to figure out. This is different from songwriting. Like, I'm trying to figure out where does your mind go? Like, I guess, how do you come up with, I'm gonna draw Lauryn Hill today. I'm gonna do this elephant today. I know the Deltas just have not seen this picture yet because they will go crazy. I guess my question is like, do you turn on music? Is it a certain vibe you like? setup
Yeah,
or?
for sure. Music plays a big factor in my art. At the same time, just listening. So, and I know listening is big in communicating. So, growing up, I was a quiet kid, and I'm still quiet today. So half the time I'm sitting with the older folks, just listening to their stories, and just searching for that inspiration. So I could wake up and brush my teeth and be like, this would be a nice painting or a nice picture, and just go from there.
That's amazing.
It's just a way of how I express myself, how I communicate. Because it's a conversation starter, and I'm not the type of person, but hey, just come out and just start a conversation. So the art does that for me. Yeah.
I couldn't do this if I traced it.
Yeah, I'm grateful. I mean, a lot of times
it's amazing.
I do it and I'm shocked at myself.
I mean, look at her neck.
Look, the elephant got knuckles.
This is crazy. I mean, look at the baby here.
Right,
And her eyebrows are big. Like you can really do eyebrows.
Right. So
Look at her lashes.
He did arch the eyebrows.
Oh my gosh.
Did you use a razor?
Nah, but I do be feeling like I'm like a barber or something sometimes when I'm doing this work. But the elephant, though, the backstory of the elephant is that I wanted to create something that represent me and a lot of other people. So I didn't really want to put like no gender or nothing on it. So that's what made me pick like an animal. It's actually a puppet at the same time as it's
I noticed
elephant.
that. I saw the strings.
Yeah. And his name is Elio. So it's a mixture with an elephant and plus Pinocchio.
Oh,
but
wow.
the backstory is that sometimes life is still pulls you in certain directions when you don't want to be. No matter how chill I am, it's just like I'm still getting pulled in certain areas.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. I love that. I love the storyline behind that. Because I see the strings. I never would have had put those two characters together, but that's amazing. That's awesome. Let me ask you this. People that, just so say, I'm like, I want a picture of me. How do you do that? People that want an image of their grandmother or...
Yeah. See,
are you that type of artist?
I can do it. A lot of times I prefer not to do it because I'm more of like say I sit and wait for the message that I feel like God wants me to put out into the world.
Led by the Spirit.
Yeah, so it's like I gotta feel it. That's when it comes easy. But like a lot of times during commission, not to say everybody, but a lot of people are more. They don't understand. They don't know that they have some insecurities about themselves. Art is not like they don't see it how I might see it. You know what I'm saying, as the artist. So it's like they might be like, that's not my nose, that's not my.
Yeah, be talking about why you make my eyebrow.
Yeah. So I try to step away from it a little bit, but
I was about to cut up because I asked him for a commission a year ago, and he said the same thing. So when you asked him for one, if he'd said I'd
Yeah. I mean, that's right.
So the answers, I respect it because his answer is consistent because he said he don't do commissions and things.
Yeah, I don't really do it like that.
But I respect that.
Yeah. But then sometimes
you listen. Draw him a dog with the chain around it.
No, I don't do that. I'm old. I'm almost 50.
Listen.
I don't need. Listen, this is true.
Put some kind of voice box behind it, and it just say herp.
Hey,
there you go.
When people get their hair done, they act brand new. That's why I don't. Next time I'm gonna tell your hairdresser, just put on a wig. Because when you come in here, 97% cute. You don't know how to act. I'm telling Travis.
Oh my God.
I'm telling Travis. I'm telling him that they're just. Hairdresser come in, got the swoop over. You can't tell her nothing. You can't tell it.
Acting brand new.
Blooming.
Yeah,
So,
man.
what would you tell, as we close up the show, what would you tell a young artist?
One, I would tell them to not look for other validations, like other people validations, because with social media, they looking for the likes, the follows, and stuff like that, and sometimes you just got to get out of that. Another thing is, just create for you. Don't be afraid to step out and pursue it in the business lane, because a lot of people got talents and they scared to showcase it. But like I said, a lot of the gifts that we have, I don't feel it's for us. It's to serve people. So I would suggest everybody just don't be afraid to just go out there.
So listen, anytime you want to display your artwork at the Kurin Key Show, we'd be honored to have you. And
love the backdrops.
Love it.
Yes.
Love it.
It looked good.
We had the band last week. We got the artist this week. Listen, if you are out there, if you are creative and you want to be a part of the Kurin Key Show, I would love to have you on. So to my WIDU listeners, if you got a grandbaby, because some of the listeners are a part of our senior community.
Yes.
If you got a grandbaby or a youngin', or even if you're a creator, let me know, and we'd love to have you on the show. So, Vaughn?
Because we're blooming.
Yeah, we are blooming.
Big shout out to the big homie.
Because he's blooming.
Robb Barber. Yes.
He's blooming. So, you're now rocking with the Kurin Key Show. It has been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. We love y'all.
We are gone.